Okay, now it says on the air, you're in the broadcast.
Yep.
I still only see you.
I
don't
see
see
both of
Florin.
you. And everybody can hear us.
That's weird. So I'm never going to be able to look at Florin.
No, how about you, Florin? Are you able to see?
No, I can't see Bill, but I can have the live stream on the other screen.
Okay.
So it's all good.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's going to be delayed by
Like 3 seconds, I think it is.
Yeah.
3 to 5 seconds.
So how are you supposed to do a show like this when you can't see everybody? What a weird setup.
It's interesting because I remember being able to see both sides.
I have a little monitor with me and I have the screen I'm sharing, but that's about it.
Okay, so let's switch to code view and see if that changes. Oops.
No. Somehow with this guest link, see the problem now is is Florin able to see my screen at any real depth?
Yeah,
I would
you
think
able to?
I'm not. I would think that this big view that I have here, you remember the picture I sent you,
Mm-hmm.
would
No,
show
yeah,
what
it
it
should
was
be
being
there.
broadcast.
It should be there.
I don't see the screen on
No,
the
it's gonna be impossible if
private
we
one.
can't.
It's fine. 3 seconds delay.
No,
It's okay.
I mean it's not really fine. I don't understand. What happens if I stop
They
sharing for a second?
they mentioned something about allowing NDI usage. Let me see.
What if I come back in again? What if I? Could it be that I got in too early?
No, no, it should be.
All right. Well, this is going to be hard because it's a bummer.
Yeah.
I expected to be able to see on the big screen what we're broadcasting.
Well, we.
And I'm sure when we did Delaney and all that, they were able to
No,
see that.
yeah. I was able to see it too. I remember watching it on like how Florin's doing it on a separate monitor just because the quality was better.
Let me come out and come back in real quick.
Okay. Let's see.
All right, that didn't change anything. All right. I'm not sure what to do. That is so weird, dude. I guess this is it's in some sort of just talk. We're just gonna talk mode, I guess.
I assume so. Florin, it shows that you're muted.
Hmm. All right. I mean, we could try to
Okay.
do this,
There
That's
we go.
intended. Yeah.
but with Florin being blind, I don't know if you're blind with what I'm sharing.
I can see it perfect.
Okay. Um, funny thing is, I hear Florin. I don't see a picture of him in here either. It's just weird. So we've never tried two guests like this. So
No, this is the first time doing it that way.
All right. And then Florin is on the live broadcast just to see anything.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fine. I can handle it.
All right. Let's see what the delay is. I just switched to my terminal.
And I see the delay. I mean, I see the stream.
Okay. I'm going to type the letter L. Tell me when you see it. Done.
Now.
Okay. So that's about a 5-second
Yeah,
delay. Okay.
it's workable.
Okay. So let's just try to work through this in this crazy setup. Okay, Florin, I have the ability to create our little chat system. Okay, how can I do this here? In our little chat system, Kevin and I coded the ability for us to have a TCP connection between our two machines when we were on my local network at home. Okay. And we got that working. We have some bugs with data, but we got the connectivity working once I allowed TMUX to establish connections and stuff. We have in our config the other person's sort of IP address. So that was Kevin's IP address last week when we were on my local network, 192.168.1.229. And we listened on port 4000, and Kevin had the equivalent. I think I was 227 that day on that local network. Okay. Because I'm in Huntsville for the month, we're not on the same local network, so we can't establish this particular connection. So I wanted to use Tailscale to be able to establish this TCP connection between our two machines. That way we could continue sort of working as if we were on the same local network, even though we're not. So I went ahead and I ran into my first problem, right? I connected to Tailscale using my bill@ardanlabs.com address via Google. And here's the crazy part, dude. It told me that I was not part of an admin group for Ardan. I asked Ed and John, and they said have never used Tailscale. So I don't know what any of that means.
Okay,
And
so
this is where we're at. So
yeah, okay, so that means that because you're part of the Ardan Labs org in Google, it will check the permissions that you have in Google so that you cannot, start configuring things for the organization.
Okay,
They expect someone to be an admin there that signs up and so on.
So then I was going to use
privileges.
GitHub. First of all, I just wanted to use my own account, but I wasn't even allowed to do that. Oh, wait a second. Okay, so let's do
you
this.
should be able. Depends which account you want to use.
Okay, so let's say I wanted to get rid of this thingamajig here. Hold on. I want to use an account that will let us make this thing happen. So I'm going to log out here.
Okay, yes.
I'm going to log out here. I'm going to say add account. I wanted to just create an account, but it wouldn't let me do that.
No, because they don't have
the concept.
Their own authentication system. They rely on an authentication provider. So I would say either
I should have all the rights I need on GitHub.
Yes, but is the GitHub account using your personal email address or the Ardan Labs one?
It would be my Ardan Labs one. It's the only one I got.
Okay, so
let's see what happens.
Let's try.
What freaked me out here when I first went in this direction is they wanted like this organizational access. I don't know. So I need to grant it Ardan Labs.
No, you don't need to grant anything here. Just say authorize.
Okay.
it should work. They just need your user, but it just so happens that
Unable to resolve Tailnet, yada, 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 yada.
well, see,
I think I should have granted it rights, right?
needs authentication. Not to the Ardan Labs, at least. Like
No?
they only require technically your email address and having a GitHub account in this case. But I wonder if it's a problem because it's the same email address as you have on the Ardan Labs Google account, and you already tried with the Google account.
So you think I need to like
I'm not sure. I haven't tried this. I only tried it on my personal account and some company account.
okay. So yeah.
Yeah.
I'm about to
Yeah, so you probably need to log in with the Google account and then add the GitHub account in the account settings and then maybe remove the
and then
root.
maybe get rid of it.
Yeah, it says needs
Yeah.
authentication.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the Google account. Okay.
Okay. And now visit the console. Click on that link. On the
link?
page, it's the last.
On this page?
Oh no, it's fine. So
I want to add another account now.
Account
Let's see what
settings,
happens.
add an account. Okay.
Maybe I just
no,
log
because
out.
you're no. It's just go to tailscale.com. Let's try this.
Why do I have? It doesn't think I'm authenticated anymore.
Okay, no, it's fine. You click on admin console. On the right side, there's a link. Okay, and then click on installing.
Remember,
Well, yeah.
it won't let me on this account because Ed didn't make me, and that's going to be a nightmare to get to. So
Yes, that's.
if I do this, which I got, yeah, I was afraid to do this before because I didn't know if I needed to give it access to my Ardan Labs, which I don't really
I
care,
haven't.
honestly.
I haven't gave it access to any. I'm signed in with GitHub, I think, or Google. But
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
that's more.
Okay, nice. Join a Tailnet.
So I'm going to choose this.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know how any of this works. Okay. Do I have to do this?
Apparently you do.
Yes, apparently.
I have to do this.
Yep. Do it.
Just Christmas tree it.
What does that mean?
Just pick whatever.
Oh, Christmas tree it. Dude, I've never heard of that.
Really?
Christmas tree it.
think you need to type in something.
Oh, because you put other, probably.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. There we go.
And yeah, it really wants you to reply.
I already downloaded it. So
Alright.
now what?
So now
Let's add your first device. Download, which I did. I downloaded it already. Skip this introduction.
Well, click on download, or yeah, skip this introduction. It should be fine.
And now add device, most likely.
Yes, you will need to add device.
Client device.
Yep, the client device, because you want to deploy this on your machine.
And now you have to log in on. So you already have it installed. So you'll probably have to go up to that little icon up there and add your GitHub account now under accounts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
click on
there
that
we
one.
go. Now you're on
Okay.
the GitHub one.
Okay.
That's something new.
Yeah, bro. I have no idea what I'm doing. Okay, so I got no more warning signs there.
Yeah,
I've
and
got this.
the machine is connected there.
Cool.
Okay, so now what's next?
So next would be to add. Let me see your account first. Can you exit from this?
Exit
For
this?
some accounts, no, it's fine. So for some accounts, Tailscale offers this free plus plan where you gain access to a few more features because you're a contributor to source code they are using. So, for example,
I doubt I'm on that list because I've never contributed to the Go project.
well, not necessarily the Go project, but even libraries they are using and so on. I don't know if they still do that, but they used to do that. So,
how would they know that this? Well, it's a GitHub account, but
based on your
so,
login. So yeah, it's fine. It may be that it's bound already to the Ardan Labs email account. So, anyways, it doesn't look like it. Otherwise, you'd see a little heart icon next to your picture up above
yeah,
on the right side.
I doubted it anyway. But we shouldn't need that right now. So this ardenbkennedy.github is like an admin account now.
Yes, and you
Okay.
can add another machine now, and you can send a link to
So
Kevin.
okay, I want to add Kevin's machine, right?
Yes.
So I say add device.
Yes.
He has a
Client
Mac.
device.
Copy link.
Email.
You can copy link and send it to me.
Okay. Copy. I'm going to send that to you over Slack attack. Okay, you got it.
Okay, got it. Installing it.
And now the big question will be if I remember correctly, he will need to authenticate using your GitHub account.
Ooh.
What does
Because
that mean?
technically it's you can add can you go to users? Maybe we don't need to do that. If you see above, there's invite external user, and I'm not really sure you can invite on this free plan. Copy invite link, send him that. It's probably better than.
Okay, hold on. Kevin, use this.
Yeah, use that one, because what you are trying to do is for the use case where you want to join another device that you own, but in this case,
yeah, because then I'd have to authenticate on that.
Exactly.
Invited users only join after being approved by an admin.
Yeah.
This is
Okay.
it's interesting what they've done here because there's this sort of centralized system for
Okay, now it says
security and authentication, but then they stay out of the way, allowing the connection to happen between the two. They sort of broker that, I guess.
Yeah,
so
they have a
now it
small
says I
relay
need to be
server.
approved.
Okay, so refresh the page, I guess.
Needs approval. Yep. Approved. Okay.
That was cool. So they have a relay server that allows the connection to be established.
Yeah, and then they are out of
And
your
sign
way.
in. Okay, and sign in as Kevin. Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
now if you go to machines, you should see Kevin's.
I see one machine.
And Kevin, are you logged in on the machine as well?
I'm logged in. I have to do that same survey apparently.
Ah,
Okay.
okay.
So I'm just Christmas training
Okay.
that really quick.
So meanwhile, I mean,
So that IP address, is that going to be the IP address he's going to try to establish a connection to?
yes.
Okay.
And click on your machine on that Bill's MacBook to get some details. Let's see if it has the TLS certificates. No, on the machine name itself.
This name?
Yeah, this
Yes. Okay.
gives you. This page gives you a bit more information.
Well, I don't need TLS right now.
Well, true. Okay,
I'm
fine.
just not set up for it, so I don't need that right now. This is
Okay,
what
but yeah,
yeah.
Okay, so I'm logged in on my machine under me. It gave me the option to log in under like Bill. Or not log in under Bill, but
okay.
yeah, so I'm on the admin page now and I only see my device but for my account.
Okay. And well, so now we will need to.
Do I add this device to my thing?
So you will need to. No, Kevin will need to register his device into your Tailnet. Now.
Okay.
Okay.
So I
Um,
can
You sure I don't have to add a device here?
no.
no.
All
I
right.
think it's saying that's like managed by me or something. Oh, no, you're on a different screen. Okay, so
I don't know if I can see Kevin's screen.
I see this
maybe I can
managed by Kevin.
try.
Okay, can you see view devices? See, so he hasn't registered his device under the Tailscale that you have under the Tailnet.
So he's got to register to this thing.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, for me
How
it's
do you do
saying
that?
I'm clicking that invite that you sent me and it's telling me I already completed the invite, which is why
Good.
I'm there. But I'm not getting the option to actually like register under bills.
Okay, so
Do you think you have to click share maybe?
wait, so on your Tailnet in settings, Bill?
Yeah.
Uh,
Where? Here?
no. In up above on on the line with machines, apps, services, and so on.
Okay.
There's a settings. Okay. And Kevin, you'll need to do the same, but I want you to
Okay.
see it on bills.
Yep.
So you should see under general, if you scroll down, no, not this one. So under general, you should see join external tailnets somewhere in here, according to their documentation. I think this is on Kevin's side.
I'm looking for it now. Join external. I'm not seeing that. User management.
How users log into your Tailnet using GitHub? You used GitHub, right?
Yeah, I used GitHub. Let's see. Invite external users.
So maybe now he has to do the add device thing.
That's the part I'm trying to get to, is me actually being
He's a
able
user for sure now.
Yeah.
Are you logged in, Kevin?
Yeah, I'm
To your
logged
Tailnet.
in.
If you look on top, what does it say here?
For me, it says Tailscale connected, Kevin Ardan GitHub, this device, Kevin's MacBook Pro.
Okay. Because here it acts as if.
Okay, here I
So
can.
so on the Mac application, are you switched to the Kevin Ardan at GitHub account as well?
Yeah. Let me see.
You see how
on the
this says?
Tailscale. Okay.
This is interesting to me because it says manage the devices connected to your Tailnet, managed by Kevin. No machines.
Okay. Let me try. I'm restarting it just in case something went terribly wrong here.
You may need to log out and log back in on your machine with that specific account.
Yeah, I'll do that. Log out. That account. Sign in with GitHub. Authorize Tailscale. Redirected. Okay. You are about to connect the device to Kevin's MacBook Pro. This may give the device access to other resources. Select a Tailnet. I can choose Kevin Ardan GitHub or Ardan B. Kennedy.
You need this
Ardan
one,
B.
Ardan B. Kennedy
Okay.
at GitHub.
Connect. As logged in to the Tailnet. Yep. Okay. There we go.
Okay.
There we go. So you had to log out and log back in.
Okay. That's what it was.
I now have your IP address.
Yeah.
100, 122.
Okay. So
I can even use this name.
Technically, yes. If you would run the something on any port that you can access, yes.
Okay, let me try this then. So
can
I'm
you
going to
go?
say, let's try to ping
make
it,
sure
right?
DNS is enabled, but I think it should be by default.
Okay. Well, I could ping his machine now then, one would argue.
Yeah, try.
Let's try this name first. Damn.
Does it work?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. Remember, I'm on the 8-second delay.
Yeah.
Crazy magic. So then you can do the same thing, Kevin. You can change your thing to just Bill's -MacBook.
Right.
It must have wrote something to the hook. Here, go on.
You will need to run a command if you want to expose a TCP port to another computer.
Oh, okay. What is
so
that?
That command, so in console, I don't know if you can do it from the UI, but in console you should say Tailscale serve and then -- TCP, and port number that you want to expose to your Tailnet.
Now, do I have to do that every time?
Yes,
Okay. I'm just looking to see if there's a way to do it here, but
because it runs as on your machine, right? So you
yeah,
could expose it every time you'd need to expose it every time your machine runs, but it needs to run on your machine to expose it. So you can set up something that starts at login and expose it automatically.
true. It's just interesting. Okay, let's try that command that I can add it to my, so Tailscale. I think I used Brew to install the Tailscale client, Kevin.
Okay, I'll have to do that.
Are you authenticated in that CLI
We're going to find out.
status?
Was it just brew install Tailscale?
Yeah. I don't know what the warning means, but. So what is that command again, Flown?
Okay, so Tailscale serve -- TCP and then the port number 4000, I guess.
Didn't like that.
Does it say something?
Tailscale serve. Oh, I think it's going to be 4000 and then dash TCP maybe. Oh no.
Oh yes.
Example.
Wait. Sorry. So target can be a file. So you'd need to say something like a CD example where they do. You have an HTTP server actually, right?
It's just going to be doing TCP. It's not HTTP.
Just TCP. Okay, so then it's local. You need to do HTTP. Well, TCP. So, give me a second. I'll send it to you.
I think I could probably just say 4000, right?
Yep.
Now, what does the serve command do again?
So serve allows you to expose the
Port
that you want in your Tailnet. They also have a funnel command, and funnel allows you to expose it to the whole internet.
No, I don't want to do that. I just want Kevin to be able to connect. Serve is not enabled on your Tailnet.
Oh, okay. Well, can you? Yeah, you'll need to click on that link. I forgot that you need to do that.
Okay. Allows you to provision certificates for their devices, whatever. Tailscale funnel lets you route traffic from the internet.
Yep.
So Kevin's going to have to do the same thing.
No, well, yes, for his account when he runs Tailscale serve.
Okay. It's amazing I couldn't do that from the UI though.
I just started working on the UI.
Direct access running traffic. Okay, so I think I have the CLI set up.
Okay.
What was the command you needed to run?
Tailscale serve first, so it brings up the login link.
That has to run though. That has to keep running.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the problem. You can do --bg, so you can run it in background. And
So even though I have the ability to establish socket connections now, Tailnet is still in the at the edge of my computer. It's still knowing what's going on here.
yes.
Oh, how come I don't see
Okay.
it?
So then
It's weird.
for me, so I can do Tailscale serve --bg 4000.
Yeah. I don't want to lose these commands here. So
Okay. It says it's running, server started and running in the background.
Okay, so if you look at that, here's the command. I'll send it both on Slack. You'd need to run on port. So you said port 4000, right?
yeah.
Yep.
And Bill, second. There you go.
I wonder if I can just say, if I want to kill it, do I just say Tailscale serve off?
Yes. You're running it in background.
Yeah. Just don't want to lose that. All right. Okay. So okay, what else do we have to do, bro?
Nothing. You should be able to
Try this? Oh, I
to
thought you were
try
giving
it.
me another command.
So
Oh,
I've
I
sent you
didn't do
something.
the TCP 4000. Is that what
No,
you
because you want to run that command
Oh,
basically to
okay.
serve on TCP only. Otherwise, it opens it as HTTP.
So let me try the
And
Tailscale
to stop it is this one.
serve off. All right, so you're basically saying I have to do that.
Yep.
Should I do the equals here and not up there? I mean,
No, doesn't really matter.
oh, I didn't
Okay.
have the background on that. So hold on.
Yeah,
Dash
sorry.
BG. No, that's good. That's okay. Okay, so now that's running. Kevin, you're going to do the same thing.
Yep. Did it?
Okay, I'm going to do the make run cap. Oh, wait. You already changed your data, right? To use the.
I haven't. I don't have access to that admin screen.
No. I look. This is all you need. It's right here. Use this.
Give me 1 second to get in there.
Use the Bills Dash MacBook.
Okay. Let me see. Bills. Okay. Got it.
Bills Dash MacBook :4000 on yours.
:4000. Okay.
Okay, so that means I should be able to do a make run cap and a make run TUI. Oh. Whoa.
Whoa.
What is it trying to do? Bind already in use.
Oh, because it's trying to bind on.
Yeah, it's trying to bind on 4000. Oh, but this command here set a 4000 to something else. So we would need to bind on a different port and it will route it.
Well, yes. But then you will need to, so instead of change it, so that you externally expose it to 4001, but internally you still run on 4000. So it's the first 4000 of the.
This is the external. This is the external.
Yes, that's the external one.
Okay. First of all, let me run this command. Oh, damn it! I'm hitting the wrong buttons. Stop trying to help me.
No, the other way around. It's the TCP, the dash TCP one that port value needs to be changed, not the last one.
Okay. Let me shut that down first. And then it's going to be this.
Yes, and then that.
All right. Let me see if I can
And
come up. Oh, but now I got to change this to be
yes,
4001.
correct.
Okay.
And for the Tailscale down, you also need to change. No, that one is fine. When you said this,
This should be 1 then, right?
that Tailscale command is fine.
I probably don't even need to say this. I could just say off, but all right, let me see if this comes up.
It'll give it to you when you run.
And
Okay,
then
so
in your application, you need to change to Kevin's 4001 if you haven't done that already.
I did. I put 4001
Okay.
here. All right, Kevin, you're going to do the same thing.
Okay, 4001, 4000, Tailscale serve.
And now I can do a make run TUI. Dude, my head is spinning, bro. I don't even know what we did. All right, let me know when your cap and your TUI is up.
Let's see. Okay, they're both up.
All right. Let me see what happens when I try to establish a socket connection now.
Okay, I'm gonna do the same.
Double click mine.
Yep.
Send me a message. I mean, we have bugs, but send me a message. Oh, dude, it just worked. Holy wow.
Okay,
Flarn.
explain a little bit of this magic to me.
Flarn, you are amazing, bro.
I'm not.
That was
I haven't
insane.
done anything.
We now have, okay. So if I were to review everything that we did here.
Except for the sign-up process.
I mean, this sign-up process was clunky, but I have an admin account now here.
Correct.
And I went ahead and I added Kevin as a user. I approved Kevin. Then Kevin went in, had to log out, log back in, and then his machine showed up here.
And I logged in under your Tailnet.
You attached to my Tailnet.
That's the biggest part. That in that process, your externally invited user, if they already are part of, they will create their own Tailnet when they sign up. So they need to switch to your Tailnet.
Okay, so that's why you have to log out and log back in.
Yeah.
So that way you can choose which Tailnet. Okay.
So when you log back in, you chose to connect to this Tailnet.
Yeah, it'll give me the option of either mine or yours because you invited me.
Okay. Once you did that, we saw that you were connected here and you were given you have an IP address out there on the internet that I can use as a local connection. Not a local connection, but I can connect directly to this IP address. They even set up some name spacing for us. So if that changes, it won't matter. So now that we're both,
it shouldn't change.
Well, I mean, IP address might change, but
no, it's static. So that's the fun part. Like they give you static IP addresses within this 100 dot address
whatever
space.
More network magic they do. So
I know
once we did that, we came here and we told Tailscale to allow somebody from the outside to connect to 4001 and route that to 4000 locally.
Correct.
So without this, you wouldn't have been able to establish. We're going to try that now. Okay. So kill your TUI for a second,
Yep.
just the TUI.
Yep.
And then I'm going to run the Tailscale down. So it's off right now. Okay. Then I'm going to run, so turn off your serve again. Then run the TUI again.
So turn off the
Yeah, run the
Tailscale.
Tailscale serve off. Run that. So it's not running.
Okay.
Bring back up your
TUI.
yeah, the cap you never had to shut down.
No.
See,
Okay,
now I can't connect, right?
Yeah. And
See how I couldn't connect?
Okay.
So now I'm going to do the Tailscale up again. You do that too.
Yeah. Hold on.
You can run the TUI.
Make run TUI. You need to push up those commands to me.
Yeah.
But
Do you have them here?
oh, now it's
It should be in your history anyway.
yeah, for me it says client already connected. But I never restarted the
yeah, we
cap.
have that, but you shouldn't have to, but that was one of the bugs we had. Remember, like we're not getting a drop. Yeah, that's okay. That's the next bug we now need to fix. But that's better because it did try to establish it again. So remember that if you kill the TUI, we see client disconnected, but it didn't get out of the list. That's what we've got to fix now. But thanks to Florin, we now have this. So I'm going to push this up. These make file changes. And thanks to Florin, we can continue to do our work while we're not here. So Florin, thank you. Dude, we needed this so we could work on this while being away.
Thank Tailscale. They do the amazing work.
No, this is crazy badass, but I would have had a hard time navigating all that without you. So, but now I could switch essentially tailnets here, right? Or I'm switching accounts that are on different tailnets, I guess. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
All right. We don't need to take up any more of your time, dude. You
cool.
That is amazing, bro. You kicked ass there. So
Happy to help.
Thank you very much.
Take care. Have fun coding.
Okay, dude. So what time is it? We got an hour, or a little more than an hour.
Yep.
Okay. So now if we look on my screen here, right? We know that the connection dropped, right?
Yeah.
We know that this connection, let me bring this down a little bit. When it all actually works right, we know that the connection dropped. In fact, I'm going to restart my cap for a second, just so we can, I'm going to run my cap. So restart your cap and your TUI.
Okay.
Then establish a connection.
Make run cap. I think I have to run the Tailscale. What's the Tailscale command?
It should already be running, but if you didn't, then you should be able to just run Tailscale up.
Okay, I never shut it off. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So establish a connection.
Connect.
Okay, there you are, right? Now I want you to kill your TUI.
Okay.
Because we don't have another double click to drop it, which is what we have to do next. Your TUI just dropped.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now, I don't know about that. Look, you see how?
Yeah.
Now, I do know that we added a loop, remember? To send a message over. And I'm wondering now using Tailscale, if that is holding, let's go back to the code real quick. Because there's so many layers of things going on now, right?
Yeah.
So remember that we added a where did we add the loop to? Let me see something here. We added a loop under read here, set timeout, right?
Okay. So
But
right
we
there.
got rid of the, I think we got rid of the right because we noticed that the error was always temporary, or wasn't temporary before. See, what's happening now is, my guess is we're in this loop. I'm going to put some logging here. We're going to go through it again, okay?
Okay.
But prior to now using Tailscale, when the 5 seconds were up, and we got the error back, remember it comes back here. We were auto-magically getting the fact that this was not a temporary error. But I think now with all the layers that are going on, we don't know about that anymore. So let's do the following first. Remember that we had this sort of write code. I got rid of it. I forgot to pull this out, which is fine. But let's do the following first.
Reading. Okay.
Just to see this happening over and over again.
Yeah.
In fact, we really should be using the log so I get a time on it. I don't need line. Okay, let's do that, right? So I'm going to kill my cap. I'm going to run my cap. I want you to establish a socket connection again. So Tailscale is interesting now because we weren't getting what we were getting on the local network that other time.
Let's see. So I click on you. Connection established.
Now just hold this for a second. Don't do anything. Go. So there's my.
That's the. It used to be waiting. Is how we had it.
Right, but this is IO timeout, which is fine, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so now I want you to drop kill your TUI.
TUI killed.
So that should have shut down the socket connection, and it didn't, right? Where when I was on the local network, we detected that.
Okay, and now if I shut off my cap, what happens? That's me shutting off the cap.
So the TUI wasn't in. Okay. Oh, but if you dropped your
Yes.
cap, we saw it. Okay.
Yeah,
so then I just got
it's not
confused.
recognizing.
Okay. Now I remember. This is working fine. What we have to do is when we drop the cap, we have to tell the when we drop the TUI, the cap has to know to drop those
Exactly.
connections. So that's work that we do have to do. So there wasn't anything here that we have to do. That is working exactly as expected, right?
Yeah. Essentially,
Okay,
it
so
doesn't
I
know
got
that the TUI is dropping. There's
yeah, there was work
event
there. Let's go back to this now. So when client TC drops, the cap is still trying to use it. So we have this bug where Oh, that bug is because when the TUI drops, we're not telling it that we're not there. That's the same bug that I
It's
got
the
sort of
same.
confused with. I keep wrapping my head around the fact that the TUI died, so we should be able to reestablish. But the fact is that the cap is already connected. So, okay. So that's interesting. So let's think about that. When the TUI is shutting down, we are dropping a WebSocket connection. Do we agree?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's look at that code for a second. Let's take a look at that code for a second. So this is our connect.
Yeah.
This stays hot. It stays hot while UI listen is in this endless loop, right?
Yeah.
At some point, when you drop the socket, this logic here is going to run. I didn't put any logging in here, like to say that client dropped or anything. See, is critical error. Where is critical error? Oh, we do have client disconnected. Client disconnected. I don't like this sort of thing here, but where is this code located there? Chat bus. Yeah. This is only being used here. Where is that being used here? Which is fine there. Okay, so this is really UI listen then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Client. So if I do this from a logging perspective now, okay. Oh, we're using this for more than just. We're using this for more than just that. No, it's only being used here. It's only being used on the UI listen. So I don't know why we're checking for this, but I'm not going to touch it because I'm not going to touch it, but I don't know why we're doing that anymore. So we're going to see this in the logs, right?
Yep.
Because I switched this logging over to say client. Oh, this logging is so bad. This is UI listen. This logging is so bad, bro. Oh man, we gotta spend. I used to have to spend a day on projects
Just
just
logging.
cleaning up logging, man. Like, and I feel like we're at that point now.
I'm just cleaning up logs and making it readable.
Just for consistency, because like I don't know why I said log. Like, oh, could be a NATS issue there. That's why it's there. Right. So UI listen. I don't think I need that. Unmarshal. UI listen. Message received. UI listen from address. Signature check. UI listen. Message sent. over WebSocket. Ooh, that was a retrieve error. Retrieve. UI listen. Okay. Right. Okay. So
You left
it's kind of
that
cleaned
send
up.
without UI listen. Above.
Where?
Up. Like more. There.
Oh,
133.
good job. Now, oh, damn it. And then here we had, oh, those are the handlers. Yeah, that's fine. I don't like using capital letters either, so we should.
Yeah.
Do that. Then on the nats, this is nats. So we could change this to just nats on Marshall. Nats. Or do I do the same thing I did here? I called this UI listen because that was the name of the function, right?
Yeah. For me, I like the name of the function just because I think it's easier to find where things went wrong.
Okay. Dude, I'm so excited that worked. Lauren is badass, bro. That's all I know. I don't know what I would do without that man in my life. So here we did server process, which was fine. Okay, so let's get back to where we were. When the TUI disconnects, we're going to be basically here. Okay, it's going to be a critical error. We should see in the log that the client disconnected, right?
Yeah.
What if we call this client UI disconnected, right? Something like that. And then this shouldn't be client. This should be, since it's only used here,
UI listen.
UI listen, right? Now, it tells me that we put this in a file called chatbus. And I feel like now this shouldn't be in here since it's only used here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a method or a function? It's a method. I think that's smarter, right? Because that was confusing.
Yeah.
Okay, so at the end of the day, if the thing drops, it's going to drop here, right?
Okay.
Now, at this point, UI listen has failed. One could argue that we know this is going down here. So we could do a couple of things. We know what user it was, right?
Mm-hmm. User.
Sometimes this thing is trying to be too nice. Not log. dial TCP connection, which was this, right?
Yeah.
For the user ID, which I'm assuming is the same user ID here. So what this tells me is the following, dude. We should add a function here called drop TCP connection. Even if it's there or not there, doesn't matter, right? Because now we have b.tcp client manager.remove. If there is a remove, I don't think there is. So let's go to our manager here. And we don't have a remove, right? We have a dial, we have a shutdown, we have a dial, we have a retrieve. Now, what we could do is this.
There would be.
So if we did a retrieve, right?
Okay.
And then we got back a client and or an error, right? If error doesn't equal nil, just return, because that means that we didn't find it.
Okay.
And then we got back a client, TCP client. Oh, do we not have the ability to close that connection? Oh, con close. See, that should force the shutdown to happen.
So it'll just return if it doesn't find it.
You could do this. So if we find it, then we can just drop it, right? And we could do that here with the drop connection.
Oh, okay, I see. Because the connection dot close is gonna, yeah, it's gonna take care of that. Okay.
Right. It may or may not be there.
Yeah.
And then we should see everything happen automatically. So in order to test this code, I will have to connect to you. Okay. Without pushing this right away, we'll have to do the following. You're running your cap.
I am now.
I'm going to connect to you on this one.
Okay. Make run TUI. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to connect. I'm now connected, right?
Connection established. Yep.
Okay. Now, when I kill my TUI, UI listen status, UI disconnected. Did the other side drop?
Nothing happened on my side.
Okay. So that means that we have to add some logging here. I got to add some logging here. So the first thing is making sure we have the right user ID. I'm going to do this too, just so I can see the same user ID on both sides, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna we'll do that, right? We'll do that. Cool.
Yep.
Okay. And then this should do a close. Now, when it closes it, we should have seen this. No, I have a client-side connection. Server. Yeah. Should have seen this, right?
Client drop.
Okay, let me do this. All right, so I've added a little logging here, so we'll get a little bit more information, right? Okay, now you saw it completely drop,
Yeah, now I did.
right? Okay, let me run this again. This is the hardest part with this stuff, bro.
Let's see.
Okay. I've established a connection again.
Okay.
The user ID is this. Okay. Now, I'm going to disconnect. Client UI disconnect, drop the connection for different user ID, see?
Oh.
So we got to figure out why that is.
Well, wait, it was.
But that's what happened. Okay, so that's a
But
good thing.
because you're the one dropping.
I have to understand what the user ID is. Now, the user ID, I'm assuming, is going to be, yeah, I might be using the wrong user ID for sure. Your user ID is 273A, and that's who we
Which-
connected here.
Because we're connecting, but then drop
Yeah.
TCP connection, you're the one dropping, not me. So it
Yeah,
probably
that was
gave
mine.
your ID.
Ah, so we used my ID here, which is not good. I need to use your ID. Okay.
But why my ID?
Because you're the ID that's in the list. You're the ID I have to drop the socket connection for because I don't need it anymore.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking. Okay, yeah, I see.
Right? I've just disconnected the UI. Now I want to do that. So the only way I can think about doing this properly is during this connection.
Mm-hmm.
I got to keep track of the user IDs that I've connected to. But that's global. So what I need to know is for a given, say, user ID on the TU side, we need to create a map here. You got to create a map. I don't have the information because I could have multiple TUI clients connected to this thing at the same time. I can't just drop all socket connections, right? I can't just assume I drop everything. So what we need here, and the question is, it sucks I have to do this at the app layer. Sucks I have to do it at the app layer, but I could do it at the business layer on the dial and drop. So this is what we need to do now. When we establish when we call this command here, TCP connection request, right?
Okay.
I need two IDs. I've got the TUI user ID, and then the person I want to connect to, right? It's the user ID for the TUI, which is me, and then the person that I want to connect to.
Client, yeah.
I need both of this information. And then when this request comes in, okay,
Mhm.
we're going to get this. We're going to get this. And then when we do a dial, we'll do this and we'll do this. Okay. We'll fix this in a second. Then when we do a drop, I can pass this ID. And then I should be able to look up all of the connections that we may or may not had. All right. So let's fix this API now. This gets a TUI user ID and a client user ID, right?
Mhm.
Okay. And then it does that. But what we're going to need here now sucks. It knows I need this. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I also now need that. I always like putting this stuff in its own sort of package to manage it. But right now, we're just going to sort of leave it here. Okay.
Okay.
There is, I think, something which I've never played with, a sync map. Never played with a sync map.
Safe.
See what I'm saying? Like I won't have to do my own.
Oh, okay. It
That I've
kind
never
of, you
played
get
with
it for
before.
free.
I should get it for free. So
Okay.
see what happens if I do that, because it will be so much simpler, right?
Yeah.
So if we do this, then I should be able to say b dot store for that TUI user, this client user. Nice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then on the drop, right, this will be the TUI user just for consistency. Okay.
Helping you out there. Okay.
Load returns the value stored. Now, problem here is, though, there could be multiple of these that we need to store. You see the use of any there. So I think what we're going to have to do is this first, which makes it harder when you're
So for a TUI
see,
connection, there could be one or many
there could be many. I might
client
want to connect to a
connections.
bunch of people.
Yeah.
And so the problem is that if I do well, the good thing is that we only have the one socket connection for this TUI. So we shouldn't see nobody. If somebody's running multiple TUI sessions, this could fail miserably. But let's not
Okay.
worry about that for a minute.
Yeah.
So if right, if it exists, if it doesn't exist, you see, I need just because I can't think right now, a list. So in my case now, if it does exist, come on, sometimes it just gets in my way, you know? This was right, by the way. Fine. Now you don't want to help me? Now you bitter?
That happens all the time.
So what I'm trying to say here is, do we already have a list in the map already? Right?
Okay.
And if we do, then let's use that list. And then what we got to do is say list equals append list and store the list in here. See what I'm saying? Now,
Okay.
these two things are sort of disconnected. So if you had two TUIs running at the same time trying to do this, it's not synchronized. So
Yeah.
this is where having my own map and thingamajig would be good, because but there is a load or store. How can I use load or store? Because what load or store is going to say is return the existing value of the queue, otherwise it stores and returns return an existing value for a key if present, otherwise it stores. So I think maybe what we can do is this. Let me think. If I do load or store like that, right? Then what happens is I get back a list, and it's either going to be this empty list or one that already exists. So at least that's atomic, right?
Yeah.
However, all that's doing is giving me back a list that I'm going to append to, and then I still have to load or store that list again. So this isn't really sort of helping me because it's still two operations. In other words, yeah, you don't have actual loaded, which I don't care about. So this is coming back with an any, isn't it? Yeah. Right. And then you got to do the same thing, list, right? But it's still two operations. It's not making my life much better.
Yeah.
Because again, imagine two TUIs connected to us at the same time, each hitting connect on different users. So this is serialized. They're going to get back the list and or an empty one. They'll get back the same. Let's say they both get back empty.
Okay.
Right? Then they do this, they append it, fine, but you're not getting both. You're getting one or the other because this code is running in parallel, essentially. It's not atomic.
Okay.
So I don't think I can use the map because we have this, it's not just a single replacement. It's, I can't do it this way. I'm going to have to do a map common to common. And then I'm going to need a mutex. What were they calling this before? I like the name they came up with. TCP con map. And then I'm going to need a TCP con map. I'm going to need a mutex. I have cursors so confused right now. I'm going to have to do this myself. There's just no way around it. There's just no way around it, dude. There's just no way around it. Oh man, I put this in the wrong spot. Shoot.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna ask because that
I
was
just
cap
put it in the
ID
wrong
before.
spot.
Well, there was a cap ID there. Yeah.
There was. So I deleted something I shouldn't have deleted.
It was that. It was cap ID, UUID. What it had suggested.
Just want to see it. Oh
Yep.
man. Okay, dude. I don't know why I'm struggling with the help today. Okay, so what we will need to do here, though, is make sure we make this or it's going to blow up big time. Okay. And now we're going to do this differently. Now what we're going to say is b dot TCP map mutex lock defer the unlock. Okay. Then we're going to do this. We're going to get this back from the map. And that's already going to be our list, right?
Okay.
I won't need to do this anymore. And we append the new one. And then we can do that. Yeah. See?
Okay.
Now, I hate that code. It's ugly. Like, I'd rather wrap this around a package API, right? But let's just make it work right now, and then we can abstract the management of this map sort of later. So now what happens is this. This will be an R lock, an R unlock. Then what we'll do is we'll get back the list, okay? And then for client user ID in the list,
Retrieve. Yeah. Yeah.
and maybe even just do that. We don't need that. So essentially now, when we're going to drop the connection, and at that point, we might as well just block it. Who cares about that? So we look that up, and then anything that we see. Now, the problem, though, is that we have to delete that when we're done. So we have to do a delete that.
And that's going to delete the user ID from the map.
It's going to delete the that key from the map, which will be that whole list.
Oh,
We don't need it in there anymore. Like, we'll just drop it.
Okay.
Now, we want to probably make sure that happens. So we could do that, right? Even if it's not there, it's not going to blow up. So it guarantees that that user won't be in the, it won't be a key in the map anymore. And then I don't think I need this log anymore. And I don't need this anymore. I need a continue. It would be nice now to know what the client user ID is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you see how that will work now?
Yeah.
Again, I hate this code. It's ugly, but and I don't want to just write functions. We should figure it out later, but
Okay.
yeah, at a bare minimum. What code is file is this in? Chat bus. Yeah, at a bare minimum, we probably want this code in a function, right?
Okay.
let's see. We don't need a context. We don't need a business. Oh, we do need business. So it would have to be a method. Given a TUI and a client, append. Well, it should be the same sort of logic we had here. So let's just.
And the context isn't needed.
And then this.
Yeah.
Oh, it's supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Status storing. I don't know why that's there. Just cleaner, right?
Yeah.
This whole thing now is essentially.
And you have to handle the error on that, right? That call returns an error.
This?
Yeah.
No, it shouldn't. Oh, it shouldn't return an error. It's never going to error. Okay. And then this would be drop, just to have a log there, right? Mm-hmm. And I mean, this entire function is essentially the implementation of this, right?
Same log twice there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here we need a context. So like this code, which is good here. Oh, I don't need this. Okay. So then this is basically just calling remove, right? Just for symmetry, which I think is important.
Okay.
And then, so at least we've sort of encapsulated this logic into two functions to add and remove, sort of the complexity around that. And then this is just add, remove.
Got it.
So
and that's still a read lock?
This is the read lock. Oh,
Okay.
well, that delete means that we can't have a read lock. That's a good point, because that delete is a mutation. That should be in a write lock. Now, what we could do is just this, like, who cares, right?
Yeah, that's what we did above. And
Well,
add.
normally if you're going to read something, you don't want to hold a strong write lock because nobody else can read. And this is for the entire map. So we didn't like do this at a user level. So that would be fairly, like, over a large amount to load, this being a regular lock could be ugly. You'd have to measure it, right?
Gotcha.
But since we're going to use a full lock on both, you always have to do the lock here. But if we're going to do a full lock here because of the delete, it's going to be, for our purposes, this isn't going to cause any problems. We're only going to have maybe one or two TUIs connected to our little chat server. But if we were going to have thousands of them, then this map might have to be at a user level. So we're only locking it for a given user, not for all users, right?
Yeah.
So the complexity of this now would be a map of connections.
Got it. Okay.
You know, but I think we're going to be fine here. We won't have a data race at least. But it was a good catch, because this operation can't be done in a read lock. That would be bad. So that was a good catch. I missed it. I was just thinking of this as a read, and then
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I just the only reason I asked is because on add we didn't it
well, this
wasn't a
is a
read
pure
log.
mutex. This is a pure mutation. So only
Okay.
one person can change the map at a time,
Yeah.
but any number of people can read. But this is a mutation.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's why I was
Yeah.
like, even though
So
we are
that was good.
reading for majority of that, we have a delete.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. And I don't want to get more complexity where we start with a read and then change it. Like, there's no reason for that. Again, if there was going to be a performance issue here, this wouldn't just be a map of common address to slice. It would be a map of, we want this to be under a key. We'd want to at least mutex at some level, at a finer grained level.
Got it.
But we don't have to do it. Okay. So this should solve our problem. Now, and we don't need to do it here. We just call drop here, right? So now when we call dial or drop, we're going to get this for free.
Nice. Okay.
Okay, we're going to find out. So I'm going to run this version of the cap.
I'm still running both.
Yeah. So what I need is for you to establish a socket connection.
Okay. Established.
Oh, no, wait. This is my problem. I need the one. No,
Oh,
I
yeah.
need to establish
You need to
connection
connect
with
over.
you.
Okay.
So
Hold on.
let me, no, just stay where you are. It's okay.
Okay.
Let's just do that. Okay, I've now connected to you.
Yeah.
I'm now going to hit enter here, and I'm going to kill my TC. Client UI disconnected, TUI drop.
Now the UID is UUID. Oh no, because you connected.
Okay, I like what I see, and then I don't like what I see. So I saw drop TCP connection, right? Hold on.
Yeah.
I see this. That's good. On line 129. Perfect. And then I see on line 154 this,
Which
which
is the same log.
it's the same thing. We don't need that.
Yeah.
But I didn't see this.
Drop TCP connection found.
So let's do this for a second. That client user ID, which I didn't log, should be in the list of connections. Like we should be able to find that user ID. I don't think we did. I'm going to just do this for a second.
You can add a log in that error.
Well, I know what the error here is. It wasn't found, right?
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure we're looking up the right client ID. And I
Okay.
want to make sure that on the dial connection, we had the right one too. All right, let me run this again. You might have to restart your cap. I don't know.
Well, you restarted.
Okay, let me see if I can connect to you. Okay, I connected to you, right?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh, the user ID is 0.
Well, there's our problem right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I didn't change the TUI code. Shit. I got to change the TUI for the new data model.
Okay.
Yeah. So now I got to find where that damn code is, bro. Establish a connection here.
Yeah.
Okay. How do I know where my ID is? Where did we put?
My account ID, common address.
Is that must be in app or something? Let's see. Oh, there it is. Okay. So let me come here. Okay. So this is supposed to be the TUI user ID and the client user ID. Okay. Query contact by ID. That's going to be this one.
Yeah. Whatever was 2 is now client.
This is now client.
It's kind of giving it to you there. Looks like.
Yeah, I know. Okay. So that's what we're expecting now. TUI client TCP. TUI client. Right. Okay. Now it should work.
Okay.
All right. Let me try it again. Then I can push this code to you.
Yep. So establish.
Boom. Okay. Client user. Okay.
Which makes sense.
Drop connection. TUI. Okay. Look up. Status found. Drop. I see all the drop now. Client.
Client
Ooh,
drop 273.
we got to figure that out.
Yeah.
Now you should have seen
I saw
a drop.
server drop.
Perfect.
Yeah, I saw the drop there.
Perfect.
TCP.
Because
server.
see, now what I see is we got a client event, right? The G disconnected, which is good. We got to figure out this, some of the logging here. Okay, this is now just a logging issue.
Yeah.
So let's do the following. I don't need that. I mostly need. That should never happen. Okay, so that solves some of this here. Now, when we called drop, what happened was properly, this got called. So we saw this in TCP line 54, which is good. And we saw at the lower level, right, that we had a drop event.
Okay.
So that's good. And that's good. Now, what's odd is we got this twice. So let's take a look at what's happening at a lower level. Because we do a log for event, right? So we saw that in the log. We got this because when I called close directly, is that what I didn't think I called that. Hold on. Where is this code again? This call to close is on the network connection. That's a standard library thingamajig, right? So I see the client G. I see the call to the drop handler. It's interesting because it's as if this close function got called twice. Let's go back here for a second. I am forcing the connection to drop. That's what I'm doing here. I never exposed this, which is fine. This is going to return. It's not going to be temporary. We're going to come up here. I don't know why it's okay. We're going to have to add some logging. What I'm confused about is that somehow this is getting called twice. Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, let's run this again. Somehow that got called twice.
Yeah.
And I don't understand it. This is all event driven, dude. This is why this
Yeah.
event driven stuff drives me absolutely like bonkers. Okay, I'm going to establish a connection.
Yep. Establish. Okay.
I am now going to kill my thing. It would be good to double click it again, but we haven't done enough of the UI work.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're happy with this. We're happy with this. We are happy with this. Then we did the close. Huh. Maybe this is a bad message.
That time I only got it once.
What's weird is it's as if it's not in the list of clients, which it should be though.
It's going by
Now I do call close here, but I didn't expect that. I almost have to. we should see that in that list before we go to look it up. Right? All right. Let's see what's in there. I don't see any code that's removing it prior to that. So I feel like the logic is right. I just don't understand why. It could be that we need to use the local address in this case.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? It could be that when we add the client, oh, dude, we use user IDs. We don't use IP addresses.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
And here we're doing it with an IP. Oh.
okay. This might be our
But
bug. We
add
switched
close.
over to user ID.
Yeah. Okay.
So when we call close, okay, where is this call being done from? Start there.
Client. See, but there we need it. It's all IP.
Do we have a user ID here? Yeah, guess what?
Okay.
This needed to be user ID, I think.
And then close it. Okay.
I don't think you need to do this though, but yeah. Let's see what happens here.
Okay.
Okay, but this was being called, where is this being called in?
Client in that read.
Yeah, it was being called here, and we assume that gets called there. So I think that should be fine. Let's see what happens. That had to be a user ID.
Okay.
I'm going to get rid of that logging when we're done, obviously.
Yeah. Just for use.
Did I not save something? Oh, I didn't save something.
Okay.
Okay, let's try it again.
Let's see.
Kevin, connect. Boom.
Got it.
Come here. Disconnect. Client drop, list clients closing.
We did not get the already disconnected.
What is your ID again? The C27. That is your ID
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, that's my ID.
Okay. So this is good because I didn't get any duplicate here. We did get this. We did get a client drop. And then, okay. So I didn't get the already removed, which was good, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you saw it drop on your side.
Yeah, I saw it drop.
So now if I run my TUI again, I should be able to connect, and my cap, it worked.
Yep. Nice.
Then I'm able to do this again. Oh, something froze.
You,
Oh,
oh,
I'm
it froze.
this terminal here froze, but all right, something bad happened there. But it established a connection here. But my terminal down here died. I don't know what I pressed. But it dropped the connection. That's good. Let me kill everything here. I did something bad has happened. Shit. Something bad has happened. We may be in some weird. I hate this stuff. Okay. Remember how I was worried about
That. Yeah.
I'm in clients. We found it. Delete. Right. Close, which is essentially now calling this, which should be fine because it's just waiting for this to be done. And but I might be right. Okay. Now we got to go through an exercise of start, stop, connect, stop, whole 9 yards.
Oh, okay.
Like none of this is fun now. So I have to kill all this stuff here. Okay. That's fine now.
I just
So
got the server drop now.
yeah, because something was still running. Yeah. So if I do this and I say shut down, it shut down. Okay. If I do this and I run the TUI, okay, I kill the TUI and I say to shut down, it shuts down. If I run this and I run the TUI and I don't kill the TUI, it shuts down. If I run this and I run the TUI and I establish a socket connection,
Yep.
and I tell it to shut down, it shut down.
Yep.
If I run this and I run this and I establish a socket connection,
Yep.
and I tell that to shut down, bingo. Okay. So the client manager is blocking now. This is after we accepted and then dropped a TCP connection. The shutdown is now blocked. Okay, so this isn't working.
Okay.
This only happens after we've established a connection. So let's take a look at what this code. This is why I always do started completed on stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So you see client manager started shutdown. Now, we are waiting for this to finish.
Yep. Close. But no.
How does this work? Hold on. We go through the list of clients. We spawn a go routine to do that.
And that closes each client.
So my guess is this call to copy is okay. We're not able to get a read lock. And that's because we're in a write lock. And my guess is
And we're hitting client.
we're not able. So the only way this gets stuck is if we're not able to do a copy. We're not able to do a copy because we're somehow in a write lock somewhere. So okay. So what happened when we dropped a socket connection again? Like the TUI drop. This is all the new code, right? So when all that happened, we'll go back to the app layer.
Yeah.
We ran this drop TCP connection.
Yep.
Drop TCP connection said remove. So we did all this. We do all that. And then I force a connection drop on that. I force that to happen. When I force that to happen, we end up in here. We did this, we did this. Then we called clients, which is part of the clients manager. We called close. Oops, let's come back.
Which is part of clients. Yeah, and then close. Client. And that was the code
I was worried about this. We remove it out of here. See, then I called client close, which I was debating if I had to do.
Because that used to be connection close.
Well, this ends up calling this, eventually calls this. Oh, you see the wait group done?
Yeah.
So what's happening now is, since that's calling that and it's on a wait, we never get to the done because this call to close is blocking. Now, I understand what's happening now. The question is, in this scenario, we're only here because things got closed. I don't think I have to do this. I don't think I have to call close on this because The whole reason we're here is because that happened.
Okay. Which that's that client.connection.close. That's what the clients.go close.
Yeah, these are
function
all
had.
unexported functions, right? So it's not like at the high level we tried to say close. This is all happening sort of internally.
Yeah. Okay.
This is where things get always complicated, like on a shutdown. But that means we had a G blocking for sure. I don't think we ever saw a client G disconnect. Well, I would argue that this is happening to properly know it's happening. That log has to be there, right?
Okay.
Because then it really wasn't done. But I think, and I was worried about it when I saw it, I think calling close here was a problem
Okay.
because when we come in here, we're in this lock, we're in this lock.
Yep.
Then we were calling client close. Client close was, yes, we were waiting to return. It's not the lock issue. It was a
wait group.
wait group done issue. Now,
Huh.
if I move the done call, it's all timing issues, right? If I move the done call above that, then we wouldn't have an issue anymore. But then it's not really waiting to be told that this go routine is completely gone. And to me, that's not good.
Okay.
And honestly, for proper synchronization of logging, you want to log before you call done. Because when you call done, that would trigger everything else to sort of say we're done. So I think it was bad to call close here because if we're already here in close, it's because we're here. I don't think this is used anywhere else. It's not, right? So the work you would have to do here is already null and void. Now, what is interesting is if this is being used anywhere, and it is, it's being used on client manager shutdown, but that one's fine. So I think this is going to solve that problem. Now, the problem is I've got a process now that is hung, right? Okay, I killed the right one this time. So let's do it again. We know what the process is. That's running. We do a make run TUI properly. We establish connection. We close it. And we're good. Okay. I don't think we had anything to add though, but
Wasn't it also like when you dropped the TUI and then you reconnected, leaving the cap running?
ask that again.
I thought it froze when we left the cap running, connected with the TUI, then closed the TUI and opened and connected again.
Let's run it. I just pushed that code, but let's run it. So give me this scenario again.
You connect to me, kill the
Connected.
TUI, restart the TUI, connect again. Okay, cool.
The problem was on shutdown was the close because that function wasn't going to return until the other thing called done, and it was never able to call done because it was waiting for the other thing to return.
Okay.
So right now we have a TCP connection, right? So establish one, pull latest and establish one.
Pull latest here.
Now that we're sort of out of time here. But that drop was a big fix.
Make run Okay. TUI's up. I'm established to you.
Oh, I think that one went over NATs.
Message sent over WebSocket.
Let me see. Let me do this again. Hi, Kevin. Let me see. UI listen. Yep. From nonce. Look at that. User not found. Sent over NATs. And then you got it over NATs. Okay. So all right. I now have a TCP connection again, right?
Yep.
This time it was sent over TCP.
And then
Did you
now
get it?
Yep, I got it. And then message sent over TCP.
Yeah, server process. So I should call that TCP process.
But then there it says message sent over WebSocket.
Yeah, because that's how it gets back here.
Oh.
WebSocket is the connection to the TUI.
Oh.
This was the
okay.
TCP side. So I guess we didn't have it connected. We thought, okay. All right. So I'm going to do the following now, since we're at the end. But at least we could test this now, you know.
Yeah. The Tailscale is
Okay.
pretty cool. It's magical.
Oh, thank God for it. All right. We solved this problem. So we need to be able to handle the coloring. We should be able to drop TCP connections with a double click, right?
Okay.
All right. We do some final testing. So then when we come back on Tuesday, we're going to finish all the UI stuff so we know exactly where we're at with this. And then once that's working, we can actually try to transfer a file because over the TCP connection, now we can sort of support that, right?
Very cool. Okay.
So
next week we're doing Tuesday, Thursday.
Yeah, I'll double check my calendar. I don't want to do that here, but
Yeah, that's fine.
Some final notes for today. Okay. So, yeah, I don't have to share anymore. Okay, so we'll look on the calendar, but man, we've got TCP connectivity, and also thanks to the Tailscale. So that last command that I need to run, if we go back to your make file again real quick, remember it was the Tailscale down. I'm going to run that.
Yep.
And then I'm going to turn my Tailscale off. Just don't need it running, connected.
Tailscale down. Okay, yep.
Okay, so I turn my Tailscale. So this was great, dude. We have this working. So when we come back next week, happy 4th to everyone who celebrates that. We'll work on some UI stuff. So we'll know that we, establishing a TCP connection or not cleaner. Because there, I guess we didn't have it. And I thought we had it.
Okay. Makes sense.
All right. So we'll
Sweet.
see everybody again next week. Safe weekend.
Next week.
Bye.